Well, hey, everybody. It's so great that you tuned in today. It's really an honor to have you here. I'm excited that you're with us. We have got this continuing series called Leadership Live. We're putting all of our leaders with the company in the hot seat, and we've got a special treat. It's a great day to be alive because today we've got Darrel Stiles. He's the broker owner of our Blue Valley office. Darrel, good to see you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Hey, we're great to be here with you. Hey, everybody, I'm Patrick. I'm an agent out of our Liberty office. I've working with the company for the last 8 years, so it's a lot of fun for me to get to do things like this and chat with you. I'm sure many of you have come to my training sessions in the past. You know, I look and sound a lot better in person, so come back into one of my training sessions when we're back in real life. But we're glad that we've got Darrel. You know, Darrel is not only a broker, but he's also an owner of the company, and so we're putting him in the hot seat today, and we've got a good series of questions for him. And I encourage you to stay tuned all the way to the end. There will be a question and answer session at the end as well. But Darrel, you said hi to us, but hey, tell us who you are. Give everybody a general synopsis of who is Darrel Stiles.
Good morning, everybody. I think I've seen all the faces, and it's good to see everyone, that's for sure. Well, when Patrick mentioned doing this, I first thought, oh man, are you kidding me? So I told Ron Timbrook earlier, I said, if you've got very high expectations today, lower your expectations. We're just going to sit back and we're going to chat. Hopefully you can learn maybe I can tell you one or two things that maybe because I'm old that you maybe haven't heard already in your lifetime. So where's Darrel? How far back do we want to go, Patrick?
Well, Darrel, you know, we're going to chat all
How much
about who
time do
you
we
are.
have?
And yeah, I've got well, not a lot of time. No, we've got enough time for you today. But I tell you, you know, so a little bit about who you are. You know, we hear the phrase a lot, elevator pitch in real estate. What's your elevator pitch when you meet somebody?
You know what? I'll come back to that. I thought about that, and I think let's jump in here. But obviously, you're in control, Patrick. I'm not. But anyway, I'm going to change the direction on that just a minute because um, let's go back just a few years here a little bit. I mean, I was thinking about this morning, and I said, what a great platform for me to be able to take a moment, and just think about from a $30,000 viewpoint, and just take a moment here and really reflect on what's going on. I was just thinking, I thought as I was making my notes and putting my thoughts together for this, if we weren't going through what we're going through today, not that it's fun, and there's pain and there's fear and there's all kinds of things, but would we be doing this today? Probably not. Probably not. And I thought to myself, okay, and again, as most of us, been through Ninja, and we are very positive people. So what do we have to be thankful for? So the first thing I want to, is just say thank you to you all, because wow, have I been blessed over the years in my life being around great people. It's been a wonderful success in the fact that I met such wonderful people. That's the first thing. And again, because we haven't, because of what's going on, we're able to sit here and I can able and just verbalize a few things and go through things. Let me just tell you a little bit about just briefly background. I mean, I've told several of you one-on-one before in the past. I'm a country boy. Grew up in Spring Hill. Grew up on a farm. And, I think one of the things about, I'm old enough, and my wife says I should have been born in a different generation, which I probably was. But I was 10 years old until I had running water out in Spring Hill, if you can believe that. So we were out in the farm. My dad was a farmer. My mom was a teacher. And, I guess why do I say that? I tell you that because uh, I knew what an outhouse was. I was responsible for those things. We didn't have running water. We had a pump. We had a cistern. So I lived a lifetime that was so removed from what my grandkids and for most of us what we experience today. But on the other hand, as I'm talking to some of the agents, and I saw Jenny, I think was on here. She and I were talking the other day, Jenny Reck, and we were talking about how it's so amazing with her family right now, with the kids out of school and the things that they can't do, and we can't run, and we're not going to sports. In light of all the ugliness out there, the fact that they can slow down and they're doing things that they would never be doing together as a family. So again, there's so many things that we can look at this, and I think we look at it, we're thankful, and obviously gives me an opportunity here to be with you all and just share a few things at this point in time.
That's good.
Anyway, I'm not going to go through the rest of that. I say that just simply to let you know that from my start in life and then going to school and starting out as a contractor, getting in real estate. I think I've been in real estate since '74, and I've been blessed and fortunate enough to be with partners that I'm with. David, I see David's on the call, and he and I have been together since, I believe, 1984. And again, I've been with many of you. I was counting up the years this morning. I think 20 years, some people 30, some people 35 years. Some of the folks as friends, we've known each other for 40 years. So you know what? It's just a great journey that I've been able to be on and be part of a great group of people. So it's very rewarding to do that.
I like that, Darrel. I mean, amazing relationships that you've got with not only the leaders in the company, but your agents. You've got a lot of agents that have been with you for, countless number of years. And maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that today too. You touched on a little bit of who you are. Tell us a little bit about your family. I know some people, a lot of your agents know you, but a lot of the other agents in our company may not. So what does your family look like?
All right. So Rex Ann and I have been together. It'll be our 49th year. And you can send her sympathy cards later if you'd like to do that. But 49 years this year we've survived. I have two wonderful daughters and actually two grandsons that are at Olathe West, and they are 18 and 15 right now. So wow, that has gone fast, but we really enjoy watching them play sports whenever we can get back to playing sports. Families around here, brother, sister, Rexanne still, all of our parents, my parents are gone, her father's gone. She still has a 90-year-old mother that lives in Olathe. In fact, I believe very close to Gloria and Arletta, as I recall. And she's still living at home. And in fact, Rexanne will be with her today, helping her out. So saying that, Rexanne and I have obviously we knew each other in high school. We were homecoming king and queen. I think that was part of the story of our last recognition awards event. But saying all that, so again, we've gone through several recessions. We've lived through some very challenging times. But you know what? So much to be thankful for. Everybody's healthy today, and we just move on.
I like that. Yeah, a good little synopsis of Darrel there. I think that's good. Darrel, not only do you manage and broker the Blue Valley office, but you're also an owner within the company, one of our company owners. So tell us what it means to be an owner and how you maybe got involved with all of that. Tell us about that story.
Okay, let's see where we start. I'll go back to David. I think when David and I came together, it was in '84. I was a loan officer actually with Coldwell Banker, and we then we learned to know each other, and he asked me to be a broker, manager in 1985 up on 65th and Metcalf with a Coldwell Banker building. So David and I have been together since 1985. We've lived through several transitions, from Coldwell Banker to J.C. Nichols. And then ultimately, when we had the opportunity to come together in 2005 to as an ownership group to start Prudential Kansas City Realty, that was our first step. And then obviously we ended up to where we are today with Better Homes and Gardens. But as an ownership group, we've been in ownership together for 16 years this year, and we've known each other for 35 years and worked together. So, and again, I can go through the other owners as well. So we've had the opportunity, and we all are different, and we all have different strengths, but you look at what we've been blessed to be able to put a group of people around us the way we have, and with David's leadership, I mean, it just worked. It just worked. And when we came together with Prudential Kansas City, it was a new chapter in all of our lives, and it was an exciting time, still exciting time. And to see what was started back 15, going on 16 years ago, and to see this group together today, and to see something that we've accomplished and put together. I will tell you, I've said it several times, and I've said it to many of you. I really feel like first of all, servant leader, but I just feel like a steward to this company. we all feel responsibility to help and maintain and keep this company moving forward. And that's what we are focused on right now. And we can talk more about the Blue Valley office with Alex taking over. We can jump into that later. But anyway, so as an owner, I feel like a steward, and that's the truth. I mean, David and I think and the other owners have always felt agents first. It's about you all. It's about how do we take care of the needs of our people, and we believe that. It's not just a phrase, but we truly believe it.
Yeah, I think all of us as agents realize that, and we're so very lucky and grateful to have leadership like we do, leadership that's been communicating with us throughout this time and giving us rules and guidelines to help us continue to grow our business in the midst of all of this craziness going on. So you're a big part of that, Darrel, and I think we're all tuned in today. We're feeling very grateful to have you here as part of this series. But you mentioned Homecoming King, so that's a kind of the glory day, so to speak. When you were homecoming king, what did you want to do with your life? What was your career move? What was on your mind? And then how did you get started in real estate?
I wanted to get off the farm and go to. No, actually, I went to KU for a year and then did not complete. Actually, went to several schools. Then Rexanna and I got married about a year out of high school. And actually, I was going to be a dentist, Patrick. I mean, I was going to be a dentist. I went away to school and I flunked biology. I hated biology, so I had no idea what I wanted to do. Anyway, long story short, I came back, went to work for a construction company, got involved. Her uncle got me started in real estate back in the 70s. We did some building, built some homes, did a small amount of construction. And I learned very quickly that the life of a builder was not where I wanted to be. We lived through the late 70s, early 80s. Some of you may have been around long enough where we had 18% interest rate. And if you're a builder, you're carrying any kind of line of credit. I know I've talked to several individuals and they've lived it. It's not a fun thing to do. So I have the utmost respect for builders. But anyway, saying all that, I said at one point I was in Spring Hill, had a small brokerage company down there. I actually worked for Crown Realty for a short time. Then I moved into Kansas City as a loan officer for Coldwell Banker, and the rest is history. So
That's great. Yeah, good little story. And I mean, what a story! From a dentist to a real estate broker and owner. So there
don't
you
want
go.
teeth, that's for sure.
And sometimes we feel like we're pulling teeth, I imagine. So, here we are, though. So that's good. Let's switch gears and talk about what's going on these days, right here, right now. We're in the midst of all of this coronavirus situation. The information that we get is changing all the time. But personally, what have you been up to during quarantine?
Aren't we all zoomed out? I'm not sure. It seems like anyway. We're on meeting after meeting for sure, but basically trying to communicating and doing just what we're doing here today. And again, going back to trying to stay focused, learning, stay focused on business, reaching out to agents, communicating. We've gone through this whole thing of being from fear and not knowing what to do to all of us working our way through to the point now where we can feel not comfortable, but we can feel like we're fortunate to be able to do some business and doing it in the right way and being very careful on what we do. So, day to day, it's going back to the needs of the agents, what do we need to do? With Alex being upcoming my assistant broker right now, and ultimately will be the replacement broker for me beginning of next year. We have staff meetings with Terry and Debbie and he and I. And I will tell you, between having those meetings and then preparing and talking with the needs of our agents, it takes a lot of time. And I think you all feel it too. So we're communicating. We're trying to make sure we're taking care of the needs. There's so many things that are happening. We've not been through it. We don't know. We've not been there before, so we don't know. We're just trying to work our way through it. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's a lot different than you all. I mean, I'll sit on a webinar. I want to pick something up. I want to hear, what's going on, the big picture. We've been fortunate to be part of the Vision Group, Real Trends, the Steve Murray Group. Of course, we have Jerry Chris. So we are all fortunate to be able to be connected with people throughout the nation that are very smart people that help, and we're taking a lot of their advice as well.
Yeah, I think that's so unique about our company. I mean, take a look at a lot of our competition. They can't say the same things that you just told us. So, working from home, we're all in the same shoes. We're all going through this together. And as agents tuned in, know that we've got great leadership that are backing us up along the way. I want to talk a little bit more about the transition that you mentioned to Alex and all of that, and we'll get to that here in a little bit for anybody wondering. That's new to a lot of you tuned in. But first, I've got a long list of things that I want to do at the end of quarantine. What's something that you just can't wait to do when life gets back to normal?
Well, I wrote down travel, and I think as many people we want, I think everybody's ready to get out of the house. I don't care if it's going to the lake. I don't care if it's wherever it is, and it'd be nice to play golf with not hitting just the cup and actually putting the ball in the hole. For those of you who are golfers and know what I'm talking about. Um, but you know what? It's getting out and being able to move around, and obviously, and we became part of the Marriott group here several years ago, and we are just anxious to take several. We have several big bucket trips that we want to do, and we aren't able to plan those yet because we don't know what's going to happen. So we're very excited about wanting to do those, putting those trips on our calendar.
That'll be neat. What do you think your first trip will be?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? My first trip will be to visit. We'll probably go down to Table Rock just for a
Hmm.
long weekend. I would imagine just something very easy.
I
But
know. Yeah.
yeah, after that, we've got some plans to do a Mediterranean and Italy trip, and we've been there, but we want to do it again. So
Yeah.
obviously, that will be on the bucket. It won't be happening until things are leveled out here.
Sure. Yeah. Well, the big trips are always on the list, but even right now, it seems just so great to go somewhere nearby. I'd love to do that right now. That sounds nice. But
And hopefully, watch grandsons play some baseball and fall football if it all comes back.
that's right. Sooner than later, we'll be back to normal. And some of your agents, when I talked to them, they mentioned that you might be a little bit of a karaoke singer, and maybe a little bit of a dancer too. I mean, have you been doing any karaoke while you're in quarantine?
No, my wife won't let me.
Well, you all ought to write her a note because I think we ought to see a video of
You know,
some Darrell.
we've had fun times and I think of John Edwards. And anytime we've been together with on our trips, we usually find some time to sing some karaoke and not gone through the educational process that both Alex and Joe Carr and several and Sarah, his wife, have done by being in voice graduates at KU. But I love singing in the choir, and I do like to sing. And you know, I just I've got a baritone voice, and I think I saw Jana Larson on here, and I know she plays the bells at our church, so familiar faces here. But I'm kind of an Elvis Presley guy. I like to go to
Elvis
Elvis.
Presley. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's got some good songs that would be good for right now. So, do you have a favorite quarantine karaoke song these days?
You know what? I thought about it. And I really don't. I usually go to my standby as wise men say, only fool. Yeah. Anyway, no, I don't have.
We won't make you give us a preview for free.
No, please
We'll
don't.
make the people
I do
we'll
put
make the
out
people
on
pay
it.
for that. Yeah. Very good. Well, let's talk, before we move on to our next topic, you mentioned a little bit of a transition coming up and, give us maybe 10 or 15 seconds on what's happening with you and your office and that transition that you mentioned.
I appreciate you asking that. For those of you don't know that, we have announced at the Blue Valley office that one of the things, as I mentioned earlier when we were starting out here today, is that as a company and as a steward, we want to be and work on succession planning. And as time goes on, obviously, we want to bring in fresh, new, young talent. And I've been very fortunate to have Alex Gehring in the office, and Alex has matured so quickly. He's been in the business now over 6 years with us and been and received multiple awards throughout the state of Kansas and the local board. Very active, but I call and so I call Alex an old soul in a young body, and he truly is mature for his years. He really is. He's very knowledgeable, and I think from what I've heard from my agents and whatever, I think that I know they all love him and they respect him, and so I'm very fortunate to have him following me. So what we're doing right now, he is the assistant broker. He is attending all the broker manager meetings with me right now. We're going to do that until October 1st. Then he will be the co-broker. And as of January 1st, he will be the broker of record. He'll be the supervising broker of the Blue Valley office. I will still plan on being around. I think my title is broker emeritus or something, the old guy. I'm not sure. Anyway, but I plan on being around and doing what I can to help the company as well as the office. So that's our plan for right now, and it's I think it's exciting, and again, we're very fortunate to have young, talented people. Patrick, you're included in that list. I'm not going to try to list everybody, but we have a lot of young talent. And I tell you what, there's nothing more rewarding to me right now to even start to really come about. And again, it's what I want to do. It's what I want to do. I want to help young people really be the best they can be and help this company continue to be the best it can be, and we can continue to grow and see growth throughout the area here.
Yeah, I think that's great. Well, thank you for the compliment. I'm just here doing what I love doing, and that's what makes it even more rewarding. So, uh, and and I think it's exciting that Alex is going to be taking over. Sounds like you're not going anywhere, though. So you heard it here first, people. You can't get away with anything quite yet, but good news from Darrel, and thank you for that little tidbit. But let's talk a little bit about business. It's a weird time. People as agents don't really know what to do and how to keep drumming up business and all of that. So if you were an agent right now, what would you be doing? How would you be doing your day-to-day and marketing? Just tell us a little bit about what you'd be up to.
Well, I'm probably not the best person to be asking that, because obviously I've been out of sales for 35 years, and I look and in fact, we just sold our house here this last month, and there's so many things I didn't know what happened as far as the selling process. To be honest with you, because I'm in the office, I'm not in the field. But obviously, I don't think it's any secret what is the number one thing. We brought in Ninja, and we believe Ninja principles. Relationships are the most important thing. And I think in this market right now, those people, those agents, and I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. You've established and you've earned and you've built those relationships over the years, and that's what it's all about. And it's more important now because as far as anybody, we're not doing open houses, we're not doing, so you're not picking up leads that way. So to pick up new leads other than through your COI is very challenging right now. But obviously, you've got to stay in touch with your people, and we talk about that every week when we have our sales meetings, and that we want to know who's doing what. And it's hard to do, isn't it? I mean, it's hard to reach out and just touch base with people. But when you're doing it the right way and you're concerned about those people and you're asking about their needs, it's very natural to do that. So it's just reaching out and making sure and finding out where your people are and their needs. And what we're finding right now is there's a large demand growing right now of people that are really getting antsy, wanting to do something. We talked about it last week, and I think we'll continue to talk about it. Buyers are wanting to do something, especially being inside with their family all this time. If they were thinking about moving, they're really thinking about doing something right now. I know we were ready. We bought and sold a home right during the middle of all this stuff, which was probably a good thing because we experienced the highs and the lows and the fears of what it was like being a seller, being a buyer, but it's all about relationships. I don't think, and again, I would go no further than that. I mean, you can do all kinds of things. Of course, you're restricted on so many things you can't do in a marketing way right now. But what you can do is pick up the phone and talk to people or drop them a note.
Exactly. Yeah. Relationships. Isn't that the backbone of our business? That's for sure. So what a great time to send out, little note cards to people or give them a call. We've talked a lot in our sales meetings. I think all of us as offices have talked about how people they're tired of the people that they're with. What a great time to give a call to them and chat with them a little bit about what's going on and have a personal connection with them. So what a great time to do that. But, we are hit in so many different ways with negative, negative on the TV, negative in news stories, blah, 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 over and over. What's some good that you think will come out of coronavirus in our industry? Is there anything good in your mind?
Any recession, anytime we go through something, there's always changes. And is it good? Yeah, I think it's good. I think, I've heard so many speakers right now. Of course, many of you have Alex Perillo, you've listened to Alex, you've heard to be around for the turnaround. I mean, that's the phrase we're all using right now. That's what we want to do. So, we look for leaders in the industry that have been around and been through these things before. Yes, David and I have been through this several recessions. Alex Perillo was another. He was a peer of Jack Frost. So Alex Perillo has been through more than David and I have been through, actually. And it's wonderful to be able to go to people like that. And then I was listening and reading an article with Warren Buffett and his sidekick. I can't think of the guy's name, but neither one of them know where this thing's going to go. You know, they're if you listen to somebody, they tell you they know when this thing's going to turn around. They know for sure when's going to happen. It's just like somebody telling you what the interest rate's going to be tomorrow, or next week, or next month. Nobody knows. If you know, but what we do know, if we keep doing the things we're doing, we will get through this. We will get through this. We got through. And will it be a V-shaped recession? Will it take longer? You know, I'm going to hope that it's shorter than longer, but we don't know that. We don't know. All we know is that we're going to take it a day at a time. We're going to keep on keeping on. We're going to stay the course. And it's hard to do sometimes. It's not fun because if you get bogged down and you say, oh my gosh, how many days are we going to hear about the virus? How many days are we going to hear all these negative reports? So it's hard. I mean, we're all learning things to do. Now, one of the things that will change, and Alex and our team have talked about, is sales meetings. I think all of you are experiencing some similar things. Sales meetings. We've had more people attending our sales meetings with using Zoom or Google Meeting, and we'll probably go to some type of a hybrid meeting. Saying that, we still know there's a need for people to come into our offices. We spend money as broker and owners to have nice offices. We feel like it's important, but at the same time, there's times that you may be out on an inspection, you may be doing things. It would be nice for you to be able to plug in to a meeting. So I think out of this, we'll see some hybrids and more of us taking advantage of technology regarding meetings. So we're not driving all over the city to do that. I know you all that live up north, God love you. You make more trips down to Johnson County. Right at the moment. I see Joanna there. So I know you all do. So it's a challenge. So hopefully we can save some miles and do things differently. Will things change in marketing and how we work with buyers and sellers? Probably. I'm not sure exactly what that'll be, but what's the old saying? The more things change, the more things stay the same. I mean, there's truth in that, but I don't think there's ever a time that we come through something like this that something doesn't change and really it improves. And just like having these type of meetings, we wouldn't be having these kind of meetings. I'm thankful we have the technology we have right now. I don't understand it. It works. We got SkySlope. We can dot loop. We can do our files online. What if we didn't have those things? Years ago, we wouldn't have that. So we're just fortunate to be able to bump along, do the business we're doing, and doing it the right way. And if this would have happened a few years before, we wouldn't be doing these things, and things would not it wouldn't be as good of an outcome. So because we're able to, we are gonna get through this, and we will. I don't know what the new norm will be, but we will get through this and get people back together.
Yeah, good words of encouragement, Darrell. And I think you're right. 10, 15, 20 years ago, it might have been a lot harder to survive than it is right now with all of our technology. So good advice. And hopefully that, a lot of you listening and tuned in have taken heart to that encouragement. Don't let anything negative get you down. Stick with it. We'll be here for the turnaround, like we've been saying. So, you mentioned we don't know the future. We don't know what things are going to be like in the future. But if you had a crystal ball, what do you think the market's going to be like in maybe, let's say, 6 months? What do you see happening?
I personally believe there's a pent-up demand, and I think people want to buy and sell, and I think things are going to continue. I know we think there's people, we hear through relocation that there's people just waiting to make things, let the dust settle, and then they're ready to start moving. They want companies starting to move people in. So both from people out of town moving in. I can remember Rich Henry years ago, which Rich and I really never worked together, but I always respected Rich, and to this day, I remember him walking by in the hallway from time to time and said, "Darrell, just hang on there. There's a lot of pent-up demand out there. Things are gonna happen. They're gonna be positive." And I remember that to this day. So I'll digress just a moment. So you talk about throughout your journey, all of us, we all run into people that we meet and talk to from time to throughout our journey that make an impression on us. Rich was a person like that. He was very powerful, and many of you had the opportunity to work with him. There's others that we've met throughout our life that help us really become the people we are. But it all goes down. Rich was the same way. The people that I respect are all about the agent first, about being a servant leader, and about truly being a steward of the companies they're working and building. And I think I think you're fortunate because truly that is what has made this company the way it is, because that is what we believe.
Agents first. Yeah. And as agents, we see that every day. Sometimes we take it for granted. We don't realize that that's what's happening, but very unique with our company. If you went out and talked with other agents, with our competitors, they can't say the same thing. So lucky to have folks like you, Darrel, and the rest of our leadership. But, so that's kind of what you think the future of the market will be like. Pin up demand. That means like do what Darrel talked about, reach out to people, call them, send them notes. What a great time to be doing that, because they're a little crazy at home right now, and they might be thinking of moving, and we might see a big burst of real estate activity in the future months. Let's hope so. My fingers are crossed for that. But let's talk, a little bit about you as an owner and the leadership. A lot of the agents don't get to know what's happening behind the scenes. And so what's going on with the leadership group behind the scenes? What have you all been working on to help us be better?
Well, I will tell you, David was probably the better person to talk about that. He has been involved with a task force that I think he's mentioned to you all before, and we've got some other brokers involved in that, which are been just working their tails off as far as day to day and making sure we're compliant, doing the things we need to do. As far as, again, on a larger scale, as I've mentioned, as far as my office, as a larger scale, the same principle applies to the company. And with David and all of us, we want to make sure the company continues to move forward and grow. So we're looking for young people to come in for leadership. So we're looking at a succession thought process of doing those things. We have not made decisions at this point, but we certainly are working on those things. There's no intent just to let things die. I mean, we want things to continue to move forward for everyone. We feel a responsibility for those people, for all of you, to keep things going. I feel it specifically from an office level as an owner, and with what David and I and all the owners talk about. We talk about it as how do we move forward as a company, and so it's an important topic for us to talk about, and we do talk about it. We haven't rolled anything out. We tried one path, didn't work out. So we're working on other options at this point.
That's good, Darrel. In it for the turnaround, just like we've been talking about. What a great way to put that into perspective is you're looking at the long term. So good to hear too. And as agents, we appreciate that. You guys are our backbones. And so we're glad that we're going to have a company to work with in 10 or 15 years. But let's talk about the future personally. What's your life going to look like in 5 years? What do you think?
Well, I don't know that for sure, Patrick. I just know my wife tells me I won't be around the house every day. So we'll be doing something.
Doing something, yeah.
What would be my goal? Obviously I would like to do some traveling, and we've got the 2 grandsons that will be in college and hopefully be involved in some sports activities. We look forward to traveling and watching them doing things of that nature. And then we've got family now that are outside of Houston. We want to visit. So yeah, we want to do more traveling for sure.
That sounds great. A lot of your agents I spoke with in this last week, and they all pretty well told me about a common trend about you, that you might wear a particular color and style, maybe a lot of blue plaid. I wonder who's wearing that today. Maybe both of us, but so I wonder who planned that. But tell us, do you think you'll wear blue plaid in retirement?
My wife tells me I wear it too much. So, but it's comfortable. I'm just, I like it. I like it. I like it. So, Patrick, the answer is yes. I
That's
will.
right. I'm
Right.
with you. I'm with you. If you look at my closet, I've got a lot of blue plaid, so we're blue plaid buddies together. But all right, well, we'll have to look in 5 years and see if you're still wearing that blue shirt. But so you're not like you're retiring anytime soon. We've not really are putting it that way. But what do you want your legacy to be in real estate once Alex takes over? Once things you start traveling and doing all that, what do you want people to remember you as in real estate?
I'm not sure I know how to put it in words other than, he cared about people. He cares about people, and it's put others first, truly being a servant leader. That's what it's all about. And that's what's important to me.
I'm hearing a trend, servant leader, and I think we all know that. Those of us that know Darrel know that that rings true, and that's why I wanted to invite you in to be in this series today. So, anyway, the blue plaid servant leader—that's something for sure that we'll remember you as. And I want to get us started on our question and answer session here. And so, before we do that, I have another question for you. But anybody that's interested in the Q&A, I see one yes check mark. Do me the favor of just putting your hand up instead. That way it'll put them in order. So under the participants tab, you can click on to raise your hand. That'll put you in order, and then I'll call on you and unmute you. And while folks are doing that, by the way, I'd love to hear your questions. Darrel's in the hot seat. Anything is open, nothing off limits. So put your questions in either the chat or raise your hand. We'd love to hear from you. But I cut you off, Darrel. What'd you say?
I've got to leave. I'm not feeling well right
Oh,
now.
that's right. Yeah. Well, I locked you in. You can't go anywhere quite yet. But as people raise their hand and ask their questions, I want to know. We talked a little bit and joked earlier about your karaoke. Would you rather be known for your dance skills or your karaoke, your karaoke skills?
Oh, I think I would go with karaoke on that one.
Yeah, good to hear. All right. Well, we'll have to see a little bit of both here. Alex, I think you've got a job over the next, several months to get some videos of Darrel singing and dancing. I think there might be some out there. I'd pay for them. So, Jenny, I see that you've got a check mark next to your name. Let me go find you down here, and we'll bring you, unmute you. But do you have a question?
Sorry, Patrick. That was from earlier. I don't have a question, although I've loved hearing all this backstory on Darrel. I didn't know about his first 10 years of his life.
Isn't that interesting? What an
It's
amazing
very
story.
interesting.
And started at the bottom, and now you're here, I guess you could say. But what a great story and a legacy, and what a great story we can look back on in the future years, and a servant leader for sure. But thanks, Jenny. Let us know if you've got a question. Anybody, you can raise your hand in the participants tab. Somebody in the chat asked us, Darrel, what's your elevator pitch? They didn't let you get away from that question. So what's your pitch?
As I talk to people, and I think one of the things we're so proud of is the fact out in the rest of the real estate industry and world is that when our company is talked about, and that is Better Homes and Gardens now, it was Prudential Kansas City, and then J.C. Nichols previously, that people know that we are professional individuals, and that we strive diligently to bring our people and train our people to make them the very best. And so we take great pride in knowing that we set that bar, and that's what our standard, and that's the big thing we reach for. We are looking for, and again, I talk to people. There's people in my neighborhood I talk to various players. They'll say, well, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. Well, I'm usually very honest with people, and I want them to know, if they're talking about a career in real estate, I try to give them the straight scoop, because it is a wonderful career, but it is a very challenging career, as you all know. So saying that, and then as far as our company, we're looking for the right people. We're looking for the right fit, because if they're not, we as a company, we need to hire good people. But if I hire the wrong person, and again, it's a mistake, and not that they're bad people. It's just maybe not the right fit for our company. And if they're going one way and we're going a different direction, it creates such a vibe in the office, such a negative vibe, that it just reverberates. And that's one thing I've learned over the years, because I've certainly made my share of mistakes as far as hiring and others. But when I've done that, and then to have to clean that mess up is not easy, because it really affects the attitudes and the whole demeanor of the office. So I'm kind of digressing, but on the other hand, so what's the pitch? We're looking for the right people. We're looking for the people that want to make the commitment, the full-time commitment into real estate.
Yeah, you heard it here. Marion, I see your hand up. If you've got a question, I'm going to unmute you and feel free to chat with us.
Dangerous. This should be off limits here.
Okay, so I know, Darrel, you've had a wonderful career. And looking back, what would you do different, or what do you wish now that you might have done differently as a career path that would enable you to be as prosperous and happy as you are now? Anything you might have done differently?
I knew you'd have a good question.